Hello, this is Pearl, and today I'm going to read Little Pilgrim's Progress, Chapter 27. The little pilgrims suffer for the king's sake. The governor of the city was one of the wicked prince's chief servants, and he hated the king and his pilgrims almost as much as his master did. When Faithful and little Christian were brought before him, he was quite glad to think that he had an excuse for hurting someone whom the king loved. And he said, "You are two very bad boys, and you must both be beaten, and afterward you shall be shut up in the iron cage, so that the children of the town may see you, and know what will be done to them if they follow your example." It was no use for the little pilgrims to say anything. The tears came into Christian's eyes when he heard the governor's cruel words, and he wondered whether his mother would know what was happening to him. Faithful's cheeks grew very white, but he whispered to Christian, "Evangelist said that they might hurt us, but if we die, we shall go straight to the celestial city. I shall think of the king, because he is sure to help me, and I will not cry." Then Christian determined to be brave too, and he remembered the picture he had seen in the house of the interpreter, of the good shepherd, whose feet were torn and bleeding. "He is our prince," thought Christian, and he did not mind the pain. I must not either, because I am the king's servant, and it is written in my book that the king's servants are to be like the prince. And although the strokes of the heavy rod made his back and arms feel terribly sore and bruised, he behaved like a brave soldier and did not cry at all. The iron cage was a place in the middle of the market, with bars of iron in front of it, so that it looked like a den for wild beasts. After they had been beaten, the little pilgrims had chains fastened upon their hands and feet, and then the man who had charge of them put them into the cage and left them there. They could not stand upright, for they were ill and weak with pain, so they sat down together upon the ground, and each tried to comfort the other by reminding him of the king's promises. "We knew they would be cruel," said Faithful, "but it is for the king's sake, and he will not let them hurt us too much." When the people in the town heard that two of the king's pilgrims were lying in the cage, they were very eager to see them, and soon a crowd of rude boys and girls, and men and women also, gathered around to stare at Faithful and Christian, and to mock them in their trouble. The boys of Vanity Fair said all kinds of cruel things, to provoke the pilgrims, and to make them displease the king by being passionate and angry with their enemies. But Christian and Faithful sat still, and neither of them gave a cross answer to anything that was said. At last some of the boys, when they saw how patient the little pilgrims were, began to feel ashamed, and they cried out, "Let them alone now. They have been beaten, and it is brave of them not to cry. Don't tease them any more." But the other boys were cruel, and liked to see the white faces and trembling lips of the poor little pilgrims. So they went on teasing them and laughing at them until their companions grew angry, and before long there was a great disturbance in the market, for the boys who were sorry for the pilgrims began to fight with those who were teasing them. The governor was obliged to send his men to stop the fighting, and he ordered Christian and Faithful to be beaten once more, because he said that the quarrel had been on their account. Then they were taken back to the cage, where they lay all night in great pain and distress. Jesus is coming soon.